accented in 24-karat gold and fiery red crystals. Precisely and logically modeled from the original, this is an exact scale reproduction of the Enterprise as seen in the TV series and authenticated by Gene Roddenberry, creator of Star Trek. The official Starfleet markings on the main saucer section that houses the bridge, where Captain Kirk takes command. The warp engines, and the shuttlecraft bay. So real, you can imagine it journeying to strange new worlds. Each starship is cast in solid pewter, hand-finished to refine every fascinating detail. Then hand-polished to a rich metallic luster. 24-karat gold electroplate accents the main sensor array. The nacelles glow with red crystal cabochons. The Enterprise, exploring the universe, making it safe for future generations. The Romulans fought to capture her. The Klingons fought to conquer her. To order yours,
call 1-800-453-2900.
Use your major credit card or mail a $39 check or money order plus $3 shipping and handling to the Franklin Mint. You'll be billed the balance in 4 additional monthly payments of $39 each. Your imported model comes with display stand and certificate of authenticity bearing Gene Roddenberry's signature. The Starship Enterprise is available on planet Earth, only from the Franklin Mint. To beam the Enterprise into your quarters,
call 1-800-453-2900.
And boldly go where no man has gone before.
Hey guys, welcome back to Collector's Corner. Today, in this latest episode of this ongoing series, as we look over a bunch of stuff in my stash and my personal collection, we're going to be looking at another couple of items from my Franklin Mint collection. And we're going to be taking a nice close-up look at these two ships. The USS Enterprise, Constitution-class starship, and the Klingon D7 cruiser. Both styled after the ships from the original series, and both pretty good representations of them. They do have minor flaws, but we'll be looking at them individually. I've had these things for many, many years. Have to be well over 20, possibly 30 years. And just thought I'd bring them out, give you guys a look at them in this ongoing series. So let's take a look. Now, the first one we're going to look at is we're going to take a look at the Enterprise. This is a pretty cool representation of the basic of the classic iconic starship. And the details are actually pretty spot on. Now, this is made out of pewter. The sensor dish, deflector dish, is made out of, it's coated in 24-karat gold. And then it's got these red crystals for the warp nacelles, as you can see there. And it is really stunning to look at. Let's bring you right into the picture here and bring it up close. You can see the detailing is pretty spot on. They've managed to capture all of the major details of the ship, including the registry. Let's spin it around here and give you a little bit more of a look at the profile. You can see all of the windows are engraved in their proper places. The engines are detailed. I mean, they really did their homework on this one and got everything done exactly the way it was shown on the show. The only place where I think they could have done a little bit better is in the grid lines on the saucer section, which were not on the original series, but for some reason they seem to have stuck with the Enterprise design for many decades. Now, let's take a look at the back here. Now, one thing you'll notice is that the engines do not sit level. That is one of the flaws of the kit that I mentioned earlier, in the fact that it is a little bit warped. Now, that may be from the years of sitting in my display, but you can see how this engine is not exactly sitting straight like this one is. And you can see that this pylon is slightly bent. Now, I don't know if that's just the nature of the metal that it is, but it's been like that for years. You can see that the neck also is just slightly twisted. Gonna have to give this thing a good cleaning, so that the whole thing is just a little off kilter. I mean, when looking at it from certain angles, it doesn't really detract from the overall look of the model. I mean, but when you start looking at all the individual decals, you can see details. You can see that there are quite a few issues with it, such as the unevenness of the disc here, where you can see how it's kind of raised on the edge here, and you can see where the casting is a little bit rough there. So that is just some of the minor flaws in this kit. You can also see where the sensor dish wasn't really attached straight on here. So let's just pull it off the stand, which the stand itself is actually pretty cool. If we can get it off, it's been sitting there for many years. And let's take a close-up look at the saucer section. Okay, you can see here that it's got all of the proper markings. It's got the actual running lights also installed. The nacelles and the pylons actually have the cooling grids installed as well. You can see the nacelles have all of their detail intact, including the pennants are all there. And if we look at the secondary hull, the pennant is also engraved into the hull, which is a really nice touch. Now, while I'm not crazy about the grid lines, they do have all of the other details intact. So overall, even with its flaws, this does make a pretty presentable model. You can see here how uneven the nacelles are when you look at them side to side. Now the stand that it brings, it's pretty cool in itself, as it's a Starfleet Delta symbol. And does hold it pretty steadily. It's hefty solid wood stand with a felt bottom to prevent it from sliding around, and a metal plaque that tells you it's a Franklin Mint Presents Starship Enterprise, authorized by Paramount Pictures Corporation. Trademark 1966 and 1988, which would probably be the date of this model from 1988, making it about 34 years old. So let's just put this back on its stand. So overall, while not being perfect, it really does make a nice display piece. It looks almost more like the animated version of the ship than it does the one on the TV series. So it is pretty cool, and I like it. It's a nice addition to the collection. Now, let's take a look at the Klingon ship. Okay, guys, here we have the Klingon D7 battlecruiser. This one, I would say, is probably the superior model of the two, as it doesn't suffer from all the warpage that the Enterprise does. And it also has quite a few details of its own, which make it a really good looking model. Now here you can see that the nacelles are pretty even. I mean, there is a little bit of a bend here to this pylon here, which is part of the casting. Nothing you can do about that. You can see all of the window details are there. It has a solid gold, I think it was 24 karat gold, photon torpedo launcher there. Green crystals for the running lights on the bridge. If we can look at the neck here, the engraving on the neck is very similar to what was on the show. No detailing here as is seen in the later versions of the ship, but wasn't there on the show either. Now let's take a look at the side view of it. Here you can see that the ship has held up very well over the years. Apparently we must have gotten, I'm gonna have to clean that, like white dots of paint on the surface. Gonna have to get that cleaned off. Now the hangar bay here has we have the coolers here. I think those are coolers, are all made or plated in gold on the front and on the sides. Now let's take a look at the back here. You can see all the detailing for the hangar bays right there in the back. And we'll take a look at this side here. You can see the crystals here embedded in the side. Really give it a nice look. Now let's just pop it off the stand and we'll give you a look at the top like we did with the Enterprise. And as you can see, the two crystals up on top. It's got some detailing here on the back. We have a bit of detailing on the surface. Klingon symbol and writing on the wings and on the pylons. As you can see that there. We have some pretty nice detailing on the engine. And what's interesting is, much like on the series, they only have Klingon markings on one side of the ship. And on the other side, also on just one side of the ship. Take a good look at the warp nacelles. Very nice looking detail on there. These are definitely patterned after the original ships from the TV series, not the later, more detailed versions of it. And it is quite hefty. This is a solid piece of metal. Now, if we look at the stand, you can see that much like the Enterprise, which has a delta shield, the Klingon stand is actually the Klingon symbol. I thought that was pretty cool. Underneath we have a felt pad to keep it from sliding around, and the same type of plaque. Franklin Mintz presents Klingon Cruiser. That is 1989. So the Enterprise was 1988, the Klingon ship was 1989, which means that it was a later build than the Enterprise, which may explain why they probably improved the build quality of their models. Because if I remember right, when I originally purchased these, the Enterprise was the first in this pewter collection. I think, if I remember that right. I could be wrong. And then being the first, there were quite a few flaws in it. So, there we go, guys. That's my little look into a bit more of my collection of models. This one featuring the Franklin Mint USS Enterprise and Klingon Battlecruiser. And they both appear to be the same scale. So that's pretty cool putting them side by side. Alright guys, that'll be it for this episode of Collector's Corner. Tune in again when in the next episode we'll see something else that I think is pretty cool and that I think you guys will like. Alright, I will see you on the next one. And please remember to like, subscribe, give a thumbs up. It really helps the channel, especially the thumbs up, as the algorithms will help push the video forward so more people will see it and it'll help the channel grow. Even a thumbs down will help. Although I hope you don't give a thumbs down, but if you do, at least it means you watched. So, guys, I will see you on the next one.